So, to continue with the story, ha ha ha. Where was I? I know. I'm just kidding today. For him. So, the American Embassy and Mr. Flowers, with an interesting discussion, but which didn't seem to bring out anything productive. Yeah, we met, we talked, nice to be in the embassy, nice to meet this, by the way, rather peculiar, strange man. He seemed to me that he looked like Christopher Walken in some of his roles that have a real strangeness about them, like let's say the Deer Hunter, Walken, who, if you don't know, you should see, plays Russian roulette and he's off his rocker, and the role is magnificent. Then Christopher Walken and the again famous watch in Pulp Fiction. He's the father of Bruce Willis. He brings I'm sorry, he's not the father. He's a friend of the father of Bruce Willis, and he brings him the little child. The watch, which the father kept in the Vietnam War in his ass. Okay, so Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken had a wife, Mrs. Lori Flowers. She was the CLO, the Community Liaison Officer, a part-time job back then. I'm not sure if the job exists anymore. After 10 years of collaborating to some extent with the various CLOs, community liaison officers, I had the impression that either the job disappeared or the community liaison officer changed tack. Anyway, Lori Flowers was one of the people who changed my life, because indeed she not only gave me a lot of work, she set me on this track, for better or worse. I would say for better. I mean, working with the embassy improved my experience, my knowledge of various things. I met all kinds of very interesting people, educated and so on. And with that money, I went on to invest in this company, Algernon, where I'm a junior partner. And this brought all this. The guys, some comfort. There are some financial issues now, but still, alhamdulillah, it's fine. She also brought in another job prospect, a job in the end, for working for AT&T. That's a bit later in the future, if we consider the moment we're speaking of now. So, wonderful lady. Sometimes I think that's a human inclination we have to think also negatively, in negative terms, or be dissatisfied. But that's just again, what if? Sometimes this thought comes out, what if I didn't meet this woman? And then instead of working with the embassy, I would go on in trade, in, I don't know, exchanging various goods with Caloyan, with Socrates, for instance. What if I became his partner on equal terms then? Because this guy makes 5 times more than what I do. So instead of having this, I would have not 5 times, but 2.5 times what I have. So palace, 12 guys like these, servants roaming around, young women. I'm fucking with it. In the sense used by Cameron Diaz in There's Something About Mary. One of the best comedies you should watch. in the sense I'm jesting. That's the way she's using it towards Ben Stiller, the character of Ben Stiller. And she's married. Farrelly brothers. Perhaps I would have been even a junior partner would be wonderful for Dan Mitulescu, one of the 50 richest guys of the country today. And so with that, I would have a few million. He's probably worth today 150, 200 million. Pleacă de acolo, pleacă de acolo. Ce faci? Băi! But that's just, I don't know, lazy talk, not really lazy talk, but not nonsense, but missing the point. The point being, I've read in the psychology books of the past 3-4 years, when I had the chance to indulge with some of the best books of psychology, and especially positive psychology, that we experience a phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. Money, first of all, do not really matter out from one point on. One needs to be comfortable. You can't be happy in Somalia, enduring pain, hunger, and so on, or Aleppo for that matter, in Syria. And then we adapt. They've studied lottery winners, and they found that those who win more than a few $1 million, yes, they experience a jump in their happiness level, but then they come back to their base level of happiness. Because we adapt. We adapt. So more money, big house would not really do it.